Good afternoon, Foxtrot, and welcome to episode 27 of Shrine Talk. I forgot to refresh the text, damn it. I'll just change that right now, but hello, welcome. And of course, our guest for today is going to be Risa.
Hello. Hello, Foxtrot. Larry.
And of course, hello to Risa's community. Right, there we go. So today we will be talking about our experience in the Street Fighter 6 closed beta, and of course our thoughts and what we hope they will keep or perhaps fix/change in either the next beta or of course the final release. But of course we're going to assume that the closed beta was the only beta, which is not very likely. Madsus, I'll have to refund you for that redeem. I forgot to turn off a lot of redeems for this one. But anyway, so we're going to basically cover not just like how the game feels, but of course the features that are in the game as of the closed beta. But feel free to ask us anything that you would like to know, and we will try our best to answer. Now, before we get into that, I would first like to ask Risa, what is your general experience with Street Fighter titles?
I never really get into it. I mean, I played Street Fighter 5, but I end up not liking it that much because I don't know why. I think it's way too fast for a Street Fighter game. Like everything dies too fast, I think, and the footsies doesn't feel nice, in my opinion. It's just like,
what do you mean by it doesn't feel nice?
I think they have too many of those, what do you call it, the link strings or something. The one that you said, like, it's not there anymore. Sorry, my throat kind of cut up. Yeah, but in Street Fighter 6, it feels more... The hit confirms feels nicer. Like, it's so easy and fluid to hit confirm in 6 compared to 5, so I don't really enjoy 5. But when I enter Street Fighter 6, it all changed. Feels like... It feels more... I'm gonna say it in a weird way, but it feels more Tekken-ish more than Street Fighter for 6.
I can see where you're coming from.
I think that explains it.
Yeah.
It's just like the hit connects, the hit confirms feels like Tekken level of frames. Like, feels like connecting a 1-1 delayed 1-1-2 or like something like that. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you get it.
Yeah. Before Street Fighter 5, did you play any Street Fighter, or was Street Fighter 5 your first Street Fighter?
Street Fighter 5 was my first quote-unquote serious Street Fighter, but before that I was just playing for fun. I don't learn any combos, I don't learn any...
You just wanted to press buttons.
Yeah, I just pick can and just wake up DP on people's faces, not really serious.
Okay, that's fair.
But I do enjoy watching them.
As for yours truly, the first Street Fighter that I played seriously was Third Strike. I played Street Fighter 4. I also played Street Fighter 5, but I refunded it within my 30 minutes of playing. And this was day one. Release Street Fighter 5, where it was really bad. Then I gave it a second chance, and Street Fighter 5... Yeah, Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition. Yeah, Capcom loves to do that. It's way better, but I definitely 100% agree with Risa when she says that Street Fighter 6 just um, it's a lot more like fun. And a little fun fact I'd like to share to Risa. I found this out the other day from from people who played the Street Fighter 6 beta and went more into studying the frames. A lot of block strings in Street Fighter 6 are actually minus. Like,
Or yeah,
a lot of it is
minus.
minus, and I'm just like, that is very Tekken-like. Because Tekken, there are more strings that are minus than even like 0 or plus. Like, a lot of good, safe mids are not punishable, but they are still minus. So yeah, like, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people preferred 6 over 5, because unlike 5, you are not blocking normals forever. You're not blocking normal attacks forever. Because you kinda...
Oh, right.
Right?
Mhm.
Even if you're...
I feel that. Yeah, I feel that.
Even if you are a frame player or a heart player, like, us heart players, we really don't know when we are plus or minus, but we can sort of feel when something is very minus or not safe. And I gotta say, just from the beta, there were so many times where I'm like, okay, I have to stop attacking here because I know I'm minus. Like, hella minus. Like, not minus enough to be punished, but not minus enough... I'm not safe or plus enough to input something else. Because most likely I will get counter hit, or if Risa, for example, backdashes, she will whiff punish me. Do you think Street Fighter 6 comeback mechanic is better than Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 4? I'll get to that question later. Don't worry, Mad Sus. I have taken note. I will get to that question later. But, so generally, who did you main a lot or play a lot in Street Fighter 6? During the close beta, Risa. Ken?
Only Cat. Yeah,
only
because,
Ken's. Okay.
I don't know. Flashy, wake up DP, plus frames.
He has the
on your
cooler DP.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, he has a cooler DP and he has a very mad...
On your face mix up.
Yep, on your face mix up and 50-50. Yep, 50-50 Oki setup. Really, really meaty. As for me...
I wanted to try Genie, but
all good.
Not enough time.
Yeah, not enough time. Hopefully next time we'll have more time. But then again, that depends how many more characters we will get to play in the next beta, if there is one. Hopefully there is. Anywho,
Rage.
Yes. Cope. Rage, yes. For me, I played a lot of my very first main in Street Fighter, which was I played a lot of Chun-Li. Chun-Li was the first character I ever played in any Street Fighter game. And then I got around to learning Juri, because like Juri was one of the characters I played a lot in 4, but one of the things that really hurt my hands and didn't make it completely fun to play Juri back then was the fact that she was a negative edge character. Like, the power-up thing, you had to hold that. And that was just like, ooh, that was so painful. But I'm glad this time around, apparently she wasn't a negative edge character in 5. I would not know because I never used her in 5. But apparently in 6, apparently in 5 she wasn't negative edge anymore, and in Street Fighter 6, she still isn't negative edge, so definitely a lot simpler to play. But I would say she still has her complicated like skill ceiling stuff because of her Marvel vs. Capcom like attack links and chains, especially when she uses the Yin Yang engine, that one. And of course, I played...
Yeah, the yin yang stacks or whatever it is.
Yep, the yin yang, not the stacks, the yin yang engine, her level 2 super. It allows her to cancel her normals into a feng shui engine. Thank you. The feng shui engine allows her to cancel her normals into normals, which is really fucking cool. It kind of feels like Guilty Gear Gatling, so to speak. And then after that, I played the character that apparently Risa will be banning randos from playing, which is Kimberly.
I'm kidding, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just for the memes, like, well, yeah. Like, I did try a lot of Kimberly because I really liked her very oaky and very fast playstyle. It was really something else, and that was just from like watching her trailer. The moment I saw her trailer, I was like, okay, I need to play Kimberly. I did not play Guy in Street Fighter 4, but apparently Chaos told me that like she has a lot of Guy's moves, and I'm like, well, Guy is her mentor, so it makes sense that she has. And yeah, when I played her and I saw like Guy's kit in Street Fighter 4, I'm like, oh whoa, wait, she does have a lot of his moves, but they're like, of course, it feels a lot spunkier, so to speak, because of the whole street aesthetic. And yeah, I did have that clip where I literally command grabbed someone like, what, 3 times in a row in the air. And no, it wasn't Risa. It wasn't Risa. My god.
No, I learned.
Yes.
I learned not to jump.
Yes. Sometimes you have to jump though, because would you rather take the 50-50 setup of the canister? Will I overhead or low? And if you decide to wake up DP, what if I block? There's always that problem.
Deal with the stupid berries.
Yeah.
Landmines.
Okay. So that was for our character picks. Alright, let's get to the features first before we tackle like the battle stuff. So what were the standout features for you, Risa?
As in combat or overall?
The game
so
features, not the battle features yet. So we're not gonna talk about the
we're not gonna talk about
drive
combat.
impact or drive rush yet. We will talk about it later, but not now.
Definitely, it's the character customization. It's definitely, that's the best feature. I have to say, like, more fighting games should have like your own OC like that when you enter the lobby, instead of like using.
I keep talking here. I need to tend to my dog real quick, but just keep talking. BRB.
So, yeah, in my opinion, I really think more games should have like this deep of character customization, because it can make you feel more immersed, because you can, technically you can play yourself in a good way. I mean, don't take that out of context.
Understandable, it's okay. Yeah.
Making yourself get into the game feels like 10 times better than using some pre-made characters off your main. Feels like, yeah, I think that's the best feature, and I hope Tekken 8 will have like the same treatment, or just,
expand character
feature
customization.
games in general. Expanded customization. I mean, Soul Calibur already use it.
Yeah.
They even let you play them. So yeah, why can't other
even if we
fighting
cannot
games does it?
Yeah, even if we cannot use these characters in ranked or casual matches, like if we're just playing with friends. Yeah, if we're just playing with friends, I honestly don't mind fighting custom characters. It's just fun. I like being given the option to do so.
Yeah.
And
I
it
like
was
giving the
so...
option.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I would
I
say it was
agree.
so jarring for me when I first saw the character customization. I'm like, wow. I'm talking customization, not the character creation, because character creation is not a common feature in fighting games. But I think it should be.
It should be.
Yep. But customization in Street Fighter 6, like even in the beta, the options were quite limited, but at least they had variations. And I'm like,
You can even make your own body shape. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And I'm just like, why is this better than Tekken 7 character customization? I'm like,
Anything.
there are a lot of good choices for Street Fighter 6. And in Tekken 7, like, believe me, there are not many good choices for character outfits that you can pick unless they are the unique ones. But then again, when you pick the unique ones, you're like, where's the personalization there? Where's your personal touch or taste or take on it? And
Exactly.
yeah, it lacks that. And to add to that, the fact that you can create your own characters. Like some people will make self-inserts in the game, which is very fine. It's totally fine. But you have people who will literally try to like, let's add Kazuya into Street Fighter 6 so we can cope that he is in Street Fighter 6. Like, I'd like to see someone recreate characters from other games into Street Fighter 6, and I think people will. Definitely. Especially when the game comes out.
Yeah. Maximilian did already found like 7 made Omega Rutal
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's definitely possible to just make your
Definitely
own
possible, yep.
cameo, your own DLC, quote unquote, guest characters.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. The other customization I want to talk about, the other feature I want to talk about also in Street Fighter 6 is definitely the, I don't think too many people talked about this, but the accessibility options for audio. When I saw the list of audio accessibility options, I was blown away. Now, just for some context, there was a very known Street Fighter 5 player who is medically blind, but he just used the audio cues and some accessibility in Street Fighter 5 to tell where the opponent is and how close like a fireball was gonna be if he got counter hitted or not. Like, that's really cool. In Street Fighter 6, I think they expanded it even more, and I'm all for it. Like, this is the accessibility that I'm talking about, like not Dark Souls accessibility, no, actual accessibility options. Because there are people who want to play the game, but because of physical restrictions, they can't. Like either being blind, maybe missing a limb or two, prevents them from playing optimally. But if the game can adjust, that's great. Because even if they can afford a proper, say, controller or peripheral that allows them to overcome their physical disabilities, if the game is not adaptable enough, they may not even play it. So, I'm glad that Street Fighter 6 has that. And again, it was already there in the closed beta, so I think they really had it in mind that they are going to give closed beta keys to some people who have disabilities, which is really nice of Capcom to do. Alright, now let's go on to the more battle-centric features. I'll start with this one, and I'll start with not the most controversial one. We'll get to that later. We'll start with the most basic one, which is the commentary. The commentary in Street Fighter 6 was a lot better than I expected. Now, of course,
crazy.
I did pay attention to chat while I was streaming Street Fighter 6, and thank you, Yata, for the raid. Thank you so much. Well, now, there were people in chat who did say, hey, is there a way to turn it off? Because it can get a bit distracting. I'm like, I knew someone would say that in chat. But I did say that, yeah, it is optional. This commentary that you hear is optional. But of course, a lot of people like me, we really do like the commentary of actual like professional fighting game commentators like Tasty Steve, Chen. So like it was just really cool to hear them, and I gotta say, other than some lines repeating themselves consecutively, which rarely happened, the commentary, the AI commentary was actually pretty good. It kind of simulated like an actual match in a fighting game tournament. And it has the personality of, it does have the personality of the commentators. Like, if any of you have heard Tasty Steve do commentary either on Tekken or Street Fighter, like you can tell that they made sure that Tasty Steve's very colorful and hype commentary did kick in once in a while in the matches. Not too distracting, but it did hype up the match a lot, which is really cool. So yeah, hopefully we get more commentators in the future, and I bet you people are gonna mod the hell out of that on PC. I bet you. People will probably mod... Yeah. They'll probably mod Maximilian Dude and...
Avoiding the puddle.
Avoiding the puddle, and I'll call it now Low Tier God. They're gonna mod a Low Tier God commentary.
I'm gonna mod LTG.
LTG, but and you know what?
That's not gonna be stream safe.
Main Mansui commentator mod for Street Fighter 6.
Right. Every time you use like the Drive Impact Mask or something.
Mask, yeah. Alright, Risa, how about you? We can go over multiple features here, so you don't have to just pick just one.
Drive Impact. I think that's the best in combat mechanic I've ever felt in a fighting game. Drive Impact is amazing. It's like revolutionary. I think Tekken 8 should steal it. Yes, steal it. Don't change anything. Just steal it. Just take it. Just take it, copy paste it, put it in your game.
Replace. You want to replace Power Crushes with that?
Yes. Get out. Power Crushes is garbage. It's a bad feature. Even though I play Fang with the busted Power Crush, I think it should be removed. It's unbalanced. Just copy paste Drive Impact. That's my
just so they get the context. How is Power Crush in Tekken?
So Power Crush in Tekken is like an armored move. So you can just use it for a panic button, like when you're under pressure. You press the Power Crush in Tekken and then you get away. Unless your character have a garbage Power Crush, because in Tekken, every character like have different Power Crushes property.
Yeah.
So some are better than the other, some are useless, some are really strong, some are
okay.
Well, mid. But Drive Impact in Street Fighter 6
is balanced.
They all are the same.
They have the same properties.
They have the same frame, same property, and they cancel each other.
Now, just to add to what Risa said about Power Crushes, so there are Power Crushes in Tekken that you can duck to evade. There are also Power Crushes that you can sidestep to evade.
And you can crouch, blah blah blah.
And depending on the character held, you can even parry a Power Crush. Depending on the character.
Even so, Power Crushes have different frame data.
Yeah.
So some are faster, some are super slow.
Some are very safe. Some are very punishable.
Some are safe. Some are launch punishable. So it's like, I don't know. It makes balancing so hard because Yeah. I guess it's just balancing hell at
Yeah,
that
it is
point.
balancing hell,
So I
but
wish.
there's not like a universally good like trait about power crushes, because there are power crushes, as we said, like, wow, this power crush sucks. And then there are power crushes that are like, wow, this is busted.
This power crush is the win button. But yeah, that's why like it's really, really unbalanced. I don't like it. I like consistency on mechanics, and drive impact is
exactly
crazy
that.
amazing.
And we've tested this several times with online play. And before I continue about this topic on drive impact, I am here to say that no, I don't think drive impact is OP or busted. I think it is a fair mechanic.
It's reactable.
I think it is a fair mechanic.
Reactable.
I mean, Risa, how many frames is Heihachi's Hashi?
It's like, damn, you're asking me about frame data. I guess it's like 18, 19.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't have to be exact, but like a good estimate, 18,
below
19 frames.
20.
Yeah, below 20. Look.
Below 20.
Below 20. Below 20, and Heihachi's Hashi is considered unseeable for most players. It is considered unseeable. Drive impact apparently is 26 frames. Now, there are moves in Tekken that are about 26 frames, and those are very seeable. Like,
Yeah,
oh, I
Snake
don't know, Xiao Yu Snake Edge, which is slower than Anna's Snake Edge, the hand Snake Edge. You have Bryant's Snake Edge, which is faster than Dragon Tail and the Snake Edge. You also have Lily's Snake Edge, which is really fucking slow, but very reactable.
And then there's Anna.
And then there's Anna, who has two Snake Edges. One is reactable, the other one not so much. And yes, this is coming from an Anna main. I do not downplay my characters. I don't. Yeah, if someone calls out my character for being busted, I'm like, tell me how this is busted. I'll see if I'll agree or not. And I gotta admit that, yeah, Anna has two Snake Edges. One is reactable and pretty fair. The other one is not. The other one is not fair at all. It's so fast and reaches so far. It can't be both. But anyway, so a lot of people are really on the fence or even like hating on drive impact because, oh my god, this is just like focus attack in Street Fighter 4. Like, it's busted. I'm like, it is not busted. Because here's the thing. No one has tried the four-finger technique yet. Now, for those who need context, four-finger technique was a technique in Street Fighter 4 where you will press, throw, and focus attack at the same time. And you press back twice at the same time you're doing that as well. What does that do? If you do this on Oki, or against someone who is doing Oki on you, one of two things will happen. If they decide to throw you, you will tech the throw. If they try to hit you, you will absorb the hit with focus attack and dash cancel away to safety. That's why it's called the four-finger technique, because you are literally using four fingers to input, throw, and focus attack at the same time. I am not sure if it's still applicable in 6. I haven't seen anyone try yet. But this is definitely something I will try myself personally in the next beta, if there is one, or on launch. I'm definitely gonna try this. But this is generally my argument for why I think drive impact is fair. Other than my previous one, which is it's very reactable. Number 2, you can actually react to it frame 1. Like, on the last frame as it touches you, you can input your own drive impact, and it will absorb that and counter the opponent with your own drive impact. It's fair. And Risa and I have done this to each other several times. Several times. And it's fair. It's not... how do I say this? because of how damage scales in Street Fighter 6, it's actually very fair. Like, whenever I hit a drive impact, I'm not really that scared. Like, oh, there goes, like, 2/3 or half my health. Like, no, not exactly. Unless I'm at the wall, so you have those really nutty wall combos. But, like, if it's on neutral, I'm like, okay, I can still fight this. And, other than that, also, the universal way to deal with someone who spams drive impact, you jab them thrice. Because apparently, drive impact only has 3 hits of super armor. On the 3rd hit, it will break. That's why most EX moves will break through it, or just jabbing someone thrice is enough. So there are ways to deal with drive impact that I think is way more fair than Street Fighter 4's focus attack. And Risa, just to recap, so what are your thoughts on drive impact other than it being like a really, really fun, really cool mechanic? In terms of like a balanced mechanic.
In terms of fun, I think it's pretty balanced. It's not really a problem for me, at least, because as you already explained, there's a lot of things that works around it. Like, it's not that press this to win button.
Yeah.
Like, like, even if you get hit, you only miss like a quarter of your health or something. It's not much. It's not game winning unless you're on the wall, but that's a different case. You're not gonna be on the wall often.
Yep.
In SF6.
Like, I think to even do half health, you need a level 3 super, and that's a big investment.
Yeah, you need a level 3 super, and that's like,
that's at least round 2.
Or on the next round.
Yeah, that's at least doable on round 2.
So yeah, I can't say anything bad about drive impact because it's kind of like my favorite feature.
Right now.
Well, to be honest, even get me excited to play more of Street Fighter 6.
Yep.
Because that exists. Like, it's good for mashers. Like, so you have like this reliable tool.
Yeah, a lot of people have called it like a very noob friendly tool, and I'm just like, isn't that a good thing? It's a good thing. It's a good thing because you want mechanics that appeal to newcomers, or as you guys call them, noobs. Because let's face it, fighting games is not the most appealing genre out there for newcomers outside looking in. Because all they see is really complicated stuff. They don't see like, oh shit, is there anything I can press without thinking and I might get rewarded for it? Yeah, in Street Fighter 6, it's the drive impact. It's pretty good. It's not busted, but it's pretty good.
And one more thing. One more thing about drive impact is I love when it gets blocked. It resets both to neutral. Like, neutral.
Oh, yes. Range. Yes, I agree.
That's
if
really
we both
good.
drive impact at the same time, we are basically bumped all the way to the back, left and right. Basically max range, so it's a reset. It's a reset. It's a really
back
good tool.
To neutral.
Back to neutral. Yep.
That's amazing. I wish I can have that, like, when you get pressured and then you power crush and then you just
after a rage art.
Start range.
If there's one thing I always complain about rage arts on the wall. I'm like, oh no, I'm face down Oki. Like, yeah, we're both at 0, but that's the problem. We're both at 0 and my back is on the wall. Like, what?
Yeah, you're dead. You're probably like, what? I mean, on the ground, face down, behind there's a wall. Yeah. What can you do? Rock, paper, scissors.
Yep, RPS.
That's not fun.
Okay.
It's a blessing game.
Alright, next mechanic I want to talk about, which is a very interesting and, in my opinion, a very high IQ tool. Drive Rush. Drive Rush. Oh boy.
Ooh, Drive Rush.
Drive Rush from parry is half a bar. Meanwhile, if you cancel into Drive Rush from a normal, it's 3 bars. And just for context, every round you start with all of your drive bars, which is about 6. You have 6 bars. EX moves cost 2, and any attack that deals chip damage chunks away at your drive bar by a good amount. Drive parry also consumes your drive bar the more you hold it, and it recovers whenever you parry something. And when you burn out, this is very important. When you run out of your drive meter, when you are in burnout, a lot of moves that are minus on block are now plus on block, which is very bad for you. Another thing, a very common wake-up tool is drive impact on wake-up. With the right setup, it's practically unblockable unless you yourself have a drive impact. But if you are in burnout, you cannot use any of your drive moves. So you cannot use EXDP, you cannot use drive rush, drive parry, drive impact. You cannot use those when you are in burnout. So you are basically more vulnerable. And drive and burnout, hilariously enough, is a consequence of being either too defensive or too offensive, which I think is a good way to balance it. Because drive is used for all mechanics, all offensive and all defensive mechanics. It's not like Street Fighter V where you have V-trigger, which is your defensive mechanic. To some extent, it's a reversal. That's why it's called V-reversal. It's a comeback tool, which is also an offensive mechanic, but you build V gauge by, well, being defensive, blocking, taking damage, etc. But in Street Fighter 6, you have the drive meter right away from the start, and you lose that on the offense or on the defense, which again is a good balance for it. It's just nice that everyone has all the resources to play with all the toys they have in their kit, depending on their character, which again is really cool. Because from a newcomer's perspective, just imagine this, like someone who likes to DP as Ken, especially if it's the EXDP, it's a Shoryu Eppa. Like, they would want to do that as the first combo in the round. Because why not? It's cool, it's simple, it's a flaming uppercut, it's cool. But in previous titles, you would need to build your super gauge before you can even do that. But in Street Fighter 6, you don't have to, because you have your drive meter, which again, I'd like to add, it's just nice. Everyone can play with all the toys they have, which is generally nice. Another thing I'd like to add also about Drive Rush is that it makes a lot of moves plus on hit and on block. So it's a setup for like frame traps. And when it comes to combos, you can actually link stuff like you used to in old Street Fighter games. And linking stuff out of Drive Rush is actually a lot more generous and a lot easier than previous Street Fighter games. Because they did change Street Fighter 6 where linking attacks is no longer like I'm not gonna say viable. Like, I think it's still viable, but only specific attacks under specific conditions and for specific characters too. So it's not a universal mechanic. How about you, Risa? What are your thoughts on Drive Rush? Because I remember you did use it.
Drive Rush.
Yeah, I remember you did use it after I used it on you several times. Yeah.
I think it's a nice, what do you call it? It's a nice feature to get your hit confirmed combos going. Like, for a newbie like me, like a newcomer, it's so hard to confirm from a hit in Street Fighter 6. So I just cope it with Drive Rushing because it's easier to get a combo from Drive Rush. It just, what do you call it? It makes you in a slow motion state, so you can like see that, oh, it connects. Connect like Strife, I guess, like Strife counter, slow motion, and then you can confirm to it. It's like Drive Rush is a really nice touch as well because other than combos, it's nice for checking someone with like a heavy punch or like a medium punch and then dive rush into another mix up. It keeps your momentum going because I mostly use it for offense. I never use dive rush for defensive purpose. I guess that's just my unga bunga nature
That's totally
going
fine.
in. Mhm. And when you tell me that use drive rush more, I do abuse it. And then you can drive rush into grab, you can drive rush into overhead, and everything's safe.
Yeah.
Like if you cancel any move that is drive rushable, it becomes safe, which is nice to keep your unga bunga going without dumping a lot of resources because it only costs like 2.
Half a
So you
bar
can do
if
it.
it's from rush. If it's from parry, it's half a bar. But if it's from a
Yeah, even
normal
if
attack, it's 3
it's 3, so you can use it like
twice.
realistically 3 times
It's very
per
expensive.
round. Yeah. Well, I guess I didn't feel it because I just press my drive rush every time I can.
Well,
But
do note
yeah.
though that attacking recovers some of your drive bar as well, so
Oh yeah, so for high momentum
if
characters,
you
it's
use
very useful.
drive rush twice in a combo, you won't burn out, but you'll be on very low drive meter. That's basically how it goes. But hey,
Drive
it's
rush for
fair.
me is like okay. It's not something. It's just a better FADC,
Yep.
honestly, in my opinion. So it's not nothing wow to me. Like, oh, it's nice.
And well, to
That
add to
we
that, like
give this
damage
back.
scaling on drive rush is actually very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like your first attack out of drive rush is not even 100%. It's 80. Because
Oh,
I checked it. Your first attack
still.
on
Nice.
100 on a normal move without drive rush is 100. But from a drive rush it's 80. And it's to it's to trade, you're trading power for speed and plus frames. So it is a worthy investment. And do note, like, it will eat away at your opponent's drive meter, so it's still worth it. It's very, very worth it. And the thing about Street Fighter 6 is that it is one of the most mental stacking reliant fighting games out there, I would say, because there's so many things to keep track of and keep up with your opponent. And then you have Drive Rush, which adds to that, because literally on neutral your opponent can just suddenly drive rush to your face and then you have to guess or react. If you react too late, then you have to guess, will they grab, low, or overhead? It's a 3-way guess. And you're gonna take, if you guess wrong, you're gonna have to just eat it and take it and do better on the next mix-up. If you react, here's the thing. If they read your reaction, they could eat half your health with a punish counter combo, which is very, very painful. And not even that hard to do, I would say.
So like
So
press forward twice.
yeah.
So easy.
Yep. Drive rush, press forward twice, do nothing. Watch as your opponent like DPs in your face and you block it, and you're like, ha 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 ha. The moment,
See ya. I
yeah,
win.
the moment you land, you're gonna eat this like really, really high damaging combo from a punish counter. So yeah, again, like Drive Rush and a lot of the mechanics in the game has their pros and cons. It's very balanced. There's no like yeah, in my opinion, there is no consequence free button in the game.
So far.
So far.
In the cast.
Yeah, so far. We haven't seen one yet.
Haven't seen like the rest of the cast.
Yeah. Because, like, again, as Risa said, in Tekken, Power Crush, for example, there's some Power Crushes that are so good, there is no downside to using it. And yes, like, for example, Feng Wei's Power Crush, forward 1+2. If you hold it and they take it, you are +7. And it will, if it crumples you on the wall, well, ouch. If you try to hit through it, you'll get counter-hitted through the power crush, which will hurt.
Even more combo.
Yep.
It's cheap.
It is very cheap. If you try to hit it with a low that isn't a high crush, you will lose the trade. Take your pick.
I love it.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, that's why I want Power Crush out from Tekken and Drive Impact in. Just steal it, please. Nice mechanic.
Okay, moving on with the features of the battle-centric features of Street Fighter 6. Another thing that me and Risa could not get enough of was the rematch speed. Oh my god. Like, even before I fought Risa, when I was fighting other close beta testers, rematch speed, even on day one when servers had a lot of issues, rematch speed was insanely fast. Like, on perfect connection, 1-2 seconds. No, sorry. When you get to the results screen, press rematch, the other player presses rematch, 1 second. Snap your finger, boom, you're back in. Just that fast.
I remember all tapping.
Yeah, I have that clip. I still have that clip.
Oh.
Risa, like, alt tab, and I'm just like, this isn't Tekken. And she's like, yeah, I forgot, this isn't Tekken. I was alt tab, and I have to sympathize with her because I totally get it. As someone who plays more Tekken than any fighting game out there for now, yes, I say for now because who knows? If Tekken 8 doesn't live up to Street Fighter 6, then we're gonna have a problem. But either way, that's yeah, that's a discussion for another day. But yeah, just Tekken, please learn from Street Fighter 6. But either way, literally, you could speedrun a game that takes less than a minute to clear with how much time it takes to rematch in Tekken 7. I don't know why it takes so long to rematch in Tekken 7. But it takes way too fucking long, and I believe Risa and I are just royally spoiled by Street Fighter 6. We had so many first to 10s on our second day, and we didn't feel tired because we did not have to wait for the matches to rematch. We didn't have to wait. So we had like 3 first to 10s in one day, and we were still good to go. Because we could just rematch so far. And I think in our last day, in our very last day of the beta, still coping because goddamn, I already miss it. I already miss it.
We played like 40, 50 matches. I don't know, I forgot.
Oh no, I have the picture. We played a whopping 41 matches in a span of 1 hour.
That's...
In a span of 1.5, sorry. 1.5 hours, we played 41 matches. We played 41 matches in a... Yeah. 41 matches in a span of 1.5 hours. In Tekken, that is probably a first to 10 and a first to 5. And your first to 10 would go like 7-10 or 8-10. Very close first to 10. And to be fair... Oh, yeah.
It's loading.
Yeah. Our matches went long. And our matches, our first to 10s were pretty close. Because, like, once Risa got around to learning how Street Fighter 6 works, she learned hella fast. She improved hella fast. And this, in turn, led to our matches drawing out a lot more time. Our matchups were a lot better and more close. It wasn't that lopsided anymore. So yeah, it makes sense that we were able to play 41 matches in a span of 1.5 hours. That's literally 2 first to 10s in 1.5 hours, with nearly every match going the full, like, a full minute. Because don't forget, Street Fighter is 99 seconds a match. Tekken is only 60. So we can only do footsies for so long in Tekken when we have to get in each other's faces and press buttons. But in Street Fighter 6, we have lots of time. 99 seconds is a lot of time, believe me. It's one of the things I do tell people when they first play Guilty Gear or Street Fighter. Look at the time on the clock. That's a lot of time. And this is coming from someone who plays Tekken, trust me. We think that 60 seconds is a long time. Would you agree, Risa, for a Tekken match?
Yep.
Yep. 60 seconds is a lot of time, trust me. Trust us. So when we say 99 seconds is a lot of time in Street Fighter, we're not kidding.
99 seconds feels like forever.
It feels forever because we are used to 60-second rounds in Tekken. But Street Fighter 99 seconds is a lot of time. So the fact that Risa and I, who do play Tekken, which is a very footsies heavy game, the fact that we did a lot of footsies and we did do the Street Fighter shimmy several times, a lot of times throughout each round, each match, like, yeah, it made sense that we were able to do 2 first to 10s on the last day in the span of an hour and a half. And we were still raring to go if the close beta was extended. We were still raring to go. I was still good to go for another set at least. God knows how many first to 10 sets me and Risa would have done that day if we had more time. But we were just good to go. Yeah, I definitely go more as well. Another thing, and I want Risa's input on this, another feature that I was blown away by was the very immersive frame data when you're spectating and watching replays. That is crazy.
It's so intuitive. Like, the pop-ups, the number popping up above your character is so intuitive.
Because you don't have to look, unlike Tekken 7, you don't have to look at the box below the characters.
Yeah, you
like,
don't have to look at the graphics.
if it's plus or minus. No, you can look at the character's moves and you're like, oh, that sweep was minus 10. Like, because there's a clear minus 10 on top of the character. Like, oh, so it's punishable by any move that comes out in 10 frames. Alright, noted. It makes a lot of... not many people would take advantage of this feature, but at least for those that do, it's nice that it's there. And honestly, that is a line that we tend to say a lot in fighting games. It's not something a lot of people would use, but we are glad that it's there. And this is how I'm going to segue into the casual game modes that Tekken has lost. Tekken was one of the, like, because Tekken was the console fighter in its generation, like, not to say that nobody played Tekken in the arcades, but let's be real, you did not go to an arcade to play Tekken. You went to an arcade to play Guilty Gear, Marvel, Street Fighter, KOF, those kinds of games. You went to someone's house or your own, if you had a PlayStation, to play Tekken, because Tekken was the console fighter game. And to sort of incentivize people and to add value to its game, it had to have multiple game modes. So Tekken had Tekken Ball, Tekken Force, Time Attack, Survival, that kind of thing. Street Fighter 6 literally took that dial and turned it to 11. Because we had the bull rush mode, the Street Fighter ball, the electric coil thing, and the mecha companion mini game as well. And those are just 4 game modes that we could try in close beta. There are other game modes that were already revealed that we couldn't play, which is literally Tekken Force, but it's Street Fighter, because don't forget, Final Fight is a side-scroll beat-em-up that was developed and published by Capcom. So it makes sense that they added a side-scrolling beat-em-up in Street Fighter. It's it's literally in their DNA to do so. Which is why I honestly think this is something that all fighting games should have. Yes, I am saying all, not most, all. All fighting games should have game modes that are not just arcade story and versus. That, and if you guys are saying like, oh, you're spoiled. Yes, I am hella spoiled by Street Fighter 6.
I mean,
and I am glad.
right?
I am glad that I'm spoiled.
Soul Calibur have mini games, I think, right? It has like that power mode or something. The roguelike.
Yes. And the old Soul Calibur games, yeah, did have that. There were like dungeon exploration, and you got like weapons and shit. Yeah, that cool. One. That was cool. And Street Fighter 6 is already leading in that department for next gen fighting games already. Like, I honestly think I sound like a broken record at this point, but I'm gonna say it again anyway. All fighting games should have more game modes that are not just arcade, story, and versus. And yes, I'm referring to offline and online versus. Yes, I treat them the exact same way. Because there are players out there that want to fight, but purely for fun. And when I mean by fight, like, not casual versus, not casual matches, no. Like, I just want to have fun while fighting. And what more than trying to punch or Hadouken a fucking exploding beach ball to your opponent? It's hella chaotic and it's hella fun. And regardless if you win or lose, you're still having fun. And it's a good way to de-stress. Like, someone might say, oh, then just take a break. But no, I don't want to take a break. I don't need a break. I need a, not from the game at least, I need a break from climbing rank, playing casual matches with my friends. I want to take a break from those, but I want to still play the fighting game. I still want to fight, but just a little, like, more casual, in a wackier way, unconventional way. And Street Fighter 6 gives that as an option. Like, not, there are many people, I guarantee, many people are not gonna touch that. But for those that do, which is still a huge amount, are gonna be happy because, hey, at least it's there. And, like, again, if Risa and I played a lot of it, like, of course, we still played more sets, more conventional sets than Street Fighter ball sets, but we had a blast playing that. And when
it's a nice way to refresh.
It is a nice way to refresh, yes. And when Chaos was able to get his hands on the closed beta through a friend, we played through that too. We were having so much fun just fooling around with the wacky game modes. And yeah, like, this is already us Tekken players asking Tekken, guys, please learn from Street Fighter 6.
Please don't mess up.
Because you are not like Tekken 8. I don't. Look. I'm this confident. I don't think Tekken 8 is gonna screw up for the pro players. I honestly don't think so. But in terms of like casuals, that is when the problem arises. I think more casual players will be playing Street Fighter 6 instead because it's just much more appealing. It's more casual, it's more fun. Oh? Risa, you okay? Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're back. Hang on. I'm refreshing your video, Ninja. You there, though? I didn't DC, Risa. At least I don't think I did. Yep, I didn't.
Hello?
Oh, there, I hear you. I hear you now.
Wait, what?
What, do you hear me now?
Yeah, I didn't hear. You got cut off on when you were talking about pro players. I mean, you didn't. You're not afraid of Tekken 8 being a flop.
Oh, yeah. Weird. I don't know who DC'd, but... Your video ninja's not showing up anymore.
Weird. I think it's me that...
Yeah, can you check your video ninja?
Carry on.
Because I was refreshing YouTube while I was DC'd, but...
It's still up with the same link. Should I refresh?
Yeah, can you refresh it?
Sure.
Is it...
Yeah, you can carry on while I fix.
Okay. So like I was saying, I honestly don't think Tekken 8 is going to flop for the pro players and the hardcore players, but for casual players, I honestly think if Tekken doesn't learn from Street Fighter 6, a lot of people would just rather play Street Fighter 6. There are more casual ways to play a game, and like let's be real here. The biggest population of any game is the casual player base. And if a game appeals to that, more people will buy into a game, more sales, ergo more budget, ergo better game, I believe. So yeah, I honestly think the success of Tekken 8 is going to hinge on how they appeal to the casual player base, because there you go. Let me try this new link. Because I honestly think that there are going to be Tekken fans that, regardless if a Tekken game is quote-unquote crap, we're still gonna buy it. Like, I'll admit it. Tekken 8, regardless, I'm still gonna buy it day one. But whether I'll buy the season pass, the DLC characters, or spend more time depends on how appealing it is as a casual game. And right now, Street Fighter 6 is killing it in that department. And again, this is just the beta. I just want to reiterate that. This is just the beta. A lot of things can change. They can add more stuff. And there are a lot of features that we still don't have yet because it's not available in the beta. And yeah, I think it's just a lot more exciting also to be able to... Like, as streamers, we like to cultivate our community. We want to get them into the games that we play. And I want to ask Risa an honest question. Between Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, and let's assume that Tekken 8 is going to be Tekken 7 with better improvements across the board, but no casual stuff. Which game do you think a casual viewer on your stream is going to join you for?
Well, maybe Street Fighter wins on that case, because we would just introduce them to the mini games, like the mini fight, you know, the fun fighting game modes, to get into it first, like to get the feel of the game. Like, hey, this game has this fun modes. Meanwhile, Tekken is just like only casual, real fighting lobbies. It can be like overwhelming or like scary for new players to try, because, you know, some people just can't. If they get into like the, even in free matches online, they can be a little bit of sweat there.
Yep.
But it can be scary for newer players. But in Street Fighter 6, you can just, hey, if you want to get into fighting games but too scared of like playing with other people, just play the bull.
It's a lot easier for us to...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for us to expand and
It's a lot easier
interact
for
with our
us to
community
invite people.
because Street Fighter 6 just has more appealing
Right.
stuff for the casual player base.
In all the fighting modes, out of minigame fighting modes, what I'm amazed at Street Fighter 6 is the way they put like old old games in their battle hub. Like I saw you were playing Swords of Magic or something,
Yeah.
the side scroller.
Yeah, and then I was also playing Street
That
Fighter 2. That was pretty cool.
yeah, that is crazy. Like they put like more games inside the game.
Because
They
why
should
not?
do that as well. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, why not? Like Tekken 8 Battle Hub, you can play like Soul Edge PS1, or like play Tekken 1 for God's sake. Why
Yeah.
not?
Why not? And also, I'd just like to add to what Risa said earlier that I'd like to give an example of like casual player base being very important. And I'm not even going to use a fighting game as an example. I'm going to use the most appealing genre, FPS. FPS right now is the most appealing genre to anyone. And look at Fortnite. Yes, I mentioned Fortnite. Look at Fortnite. A lot of reason why a lot of people don't play Fortnite builds. Like, look, even from a very passionate gamer perspective, I can see the appeal of builds. It's a very creative take on the FPS or third-person shooter genre, and it's very sweaty, very skill-based, but it's cool to watch. But as a playing experience, I just want to shoot. I don't want to tap someone with a gun and then suddenly I see a Taj Mahal right in front of my face. Like, what the fuck? That is amazing, but holy shit. Look what happened when Epic decided to take out builds and add zero build. Remember, I want to add, zero build was supposed to be temporary. It was supposed to be a temporary thing, but Epic did the smart thing of making it a permanent game mode. What happened? The popularity and player base skyrocketed. Why? Because more people were appealed by the fact that, oh, this is a very simple game now, then it's really fun. It's free, cross-platform, cross-play, more people to play with. It was practically a recipe for success. Zero build was the recipe for success for an already popular game. And that's kind of how you get a casual viewer into a member in your community. You try to introduce them to a game that they wouldn't normally play, but you play a lot. You have to get a foot in before you get their whole body in. So, for example, if I was a Fortnite player and I played only builds and I wanted Risa to play, impossible. Impossible. Because Risa just doesn't want to play builds, and that's fine. That's fair.
Yeah, I don't.
She doesn't want to play it. I can't force her. I wouldn't force her. That's just bad. No, I don't want to force her to play something she doesn't want to play. But with zero builds, she had so much fun. She was actually playing with randos when a lot of us were offline. Like, of course, that was during the earlier phase. Now that she has more games to play, she only plays Fortnite every once in a while. But hey, she's still having fun. But the thing is, even if I never got Risa into builds, it got me into builds. Like, I never got into builds because of builds. I got into builds because of zero build. And I believe that is an accurate metaphor of how you get someone in a fighting game. Like, sure, maybe someone in Risa's community will probably never play casual matches, but they'll play the hell out of the Street Fighter ball, the bull, the electric coil thing, and then eventually they're like, you know what? I want to give casual matches a try. That's how you do it. You let them try something really fun long enough that they want to try something else or try something, or they want to one-up their game. Because it's a natural thing. Like, whenever we do something, we want to improve. Even if we are satisfied with what we have. I mean, it's something very intrinsic, not just in games. but in everything that we do. It may not be as intensive as other things, like, for example, let's take fighting games versus first shooter games. Especially for people like me and Risa, I think. Like, I think we are content with how good we are in shooter games, and we'd rather spend more time improving in fighting games. And there are other people that are the other way around. They would rather improve the hell out of their skill in Overwatch, Apex, Valorant, Fortnite, and they'd rather just have fun playing fighting games. But eventually, the more they play something that they're not really like hardcore into, they still eventually want to improve. Because it's a very good feeling. It's such a good feeling when you see yourself improve in something. And honestly, it's a very humane thing. You can't get enough of it. And I mean, Risa right here is proof. Street Fighter 6 was her first serious Street Fighter game. She did not like Street Fighter 5 at all. And when she got better with Ken, she was having way more fun than she thought. When she finally grasped Drive Impact and Drive Rush, she was having a blast.
Because it's simple. It's not complex. And the move list is not even that long. I think Street Fighter 6 have less move list than 5. Is it just me? No, right?
No.
I'm just hallucinating. It just feels better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something just feels better. I think it's a Drive Impact, honestly. And the Drive... I don't like V-Trigger. I don't like V-Reversal.
Well...
V-Trigger. It feels... I don't know. I think it has separate bars, okay? So it's like too many bars in one screen. Like,
well...
I need to like look all over the place. So
if people don't want to take it from a VTuber, they'll have to take it from Daigo the Beast Umehara himself. He himself said that V-Trigger, like... he's not a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
because V-Trigger was supposed to be a defensive tool. Guess how people are using it? Offensive.
Offensive. Only offensive.
How? They will intentionally take hits or take blocks, and then they'll dump their V-Trigger gauge on you on top of their super gauge, and then they'll KO you. How about you? What are your thoughts on like V-Trigger as a mechanic?
I just don't like it. I don't play SF6 that much, but yeah, V-Trigger feels like it just makes everything way too safe with a low cost. Like at least Drive Rush costs like 3, so you can't really spam it. But V-Trigger is always there if you have the momentum. I think.
Yeah,
I think that's what I remember. Like it's so cheap for its rewards. It costs so cheap.
Yes, and like
So you can play it over and
if I'm
over
not
again.
mistaken, scaling wasn't even
scaling
affected
as
by
well. There's no
V-Trigger.
scaling.
And if anything, there were some V-Triggers actually buffed your character. So yikes. Drive Rush.
Oh, that's a lot of damage.
Drive Rush is sort of a buff, but there is a trade-off. Like I mentioned, you are more plus, but scaling is literally way heavier. It kicks in a lot sooner, which is fair. And like, yeah, Daigo himself really did enjoy the hell out of Street Fighter 6 beta because one of his major complaints about Street Fighter 5 is that it doesn't have a decent enough defensive tool. Even if 2D games are supposed to be very attack-centric compared to, say, Tekken, you still need a defensive tool. And, I mean, Tekken has been known for, well, having defensive tools because it is a very defensive game. Because one combo can take out half your health on the right conditions. But in 2D games, like, I'm not talking about Strive because Strive damage is a fucking meme. In most fighting games, 2D fighting games, there's usually a panic button. So you have burst, you have, well, yeah, you have V trigger. You Skullgirls also has an anti-repeating combo mechanic. KOF has a lot of pushback, like guard canceling. Street Fighter 6 also added that, actually. I used it a couple of times. If you press forward drive impact, you'll actually... It's the old V-trigger mechanic without the extra steps. You give the opponent chip damage, which is recoverable over time, but if you hit them, you are rewarded. It costs drive gauge, but here's the best part I think that they did right with drive gauge. It's an offensive and defensive tool, but it recovers quite fast because there are many ways to recover it. You can recover it by parrying a lot of hits. You can recover it by hitting someone. You can recover by using drive moves, or generally just even block stringing someone. It's really good. So generally, like across the board, like again, this is just beta. Like a lot of things can change. We're really enjoying and having a blast. But of course, little segue, but no game is perfect. So we do have our complaints about Street Fighter 6. And I'll start. Let's see. If there is one thing I will definitely complain about in Street Fighter 6, there is... The menus can get a bit confusing, especially for the battle settings. Like, I think at the start of the game, when you boot up the game for the first time, the game should ask you if you want your controls in classic or modern right off the bat. Because I literally had to teach people in chat how to set their controls to classic controls for all characters.
Oh yeah, me too.
I had to teach...
Yeah, I was so confused.
Yeah, I had to teach several people in chat because even I was like, Jesus, how do you set this, how do you set the controls to classic for all characters instead of individually? I had to browse through the menus to do that. Eventually I found it. So yeah, I think that's one of the things I think Capcom should improve on the next beta or on release. Definitely by the release of the game. Like when you start up the game, you should have this option. Do you want classic or modern controls? And then when you pick one, it will tell you if you want to change it, go to options, battle settings. There. It's a very short tutorial and you'll be glad that the game took the time to teach you how to do it. Okay, Risa, how about you? Any complaints on Street Fighter 6? I'm pretty sure you do.
I'm kidding. No. But yeah, the menu, there's like so many menus in the Battle Hub even. Like there's like the tablet menu, the battles menu, the personal menu, profile menu. I don't know. There's like too many menus for me.
There's a lot of menus, yeah.
There's
Menu Fighter 6. We are literally fighting the menus.
I mean, they are nice.
Oh yeah, they
Meaning,
look nice.
Like we can set everything up the way we like, but I don't know. I think it will make newer players get used to it.
Yeah, it will take time for them to get used to it, and especially like for new players, like don't forget that new players should not have the patience to learn these things because they just want to get in and play. So the less time they learn or the less time they spend looking around the menus, the better.
I mean, to be fair, I was like on day one, Street Fighter 6, I was like going to your stream and like, can you teach me how to change
I had to,
this, that. Yeah. Because I don't know where is which, where is where, which is where, like, but there's so many. I think they should add more shortcuts to these. But in terms of in-game battle, in-game combat, I don't have any complaints so far.
So far. For me, I do have one complaint. I do have one complaint about the drive system. They should make it a bit easier to distinguish a drive rush from a drive impact. In my opinion, I think drive impact, like, sure, it will lose a bit of style, but it should just be straight up red and drive rush should be green. Because drive impact has like a rainbow of colors and drive rush is just predominantly green. But if you're trying to react to something and you see a rainbow of colors, you will see green. So you might think it's a drive rush, so you just stand there when it was actually a drive impact. But if you see red, you know it's a drive impact. Now again, this is just my opinion and anyone and everyone is free to disagree or agree. But yeah, that's definitely one of the common and, in my opinion, acceptable complaints about drive impact. I think it should be a lot easier to distinguish from a drive rush. Now, we are not saying it should be easier to react to or readable. No, different. There's a big difference. It should be able to tell the difference from a drive rush and a drive impact. And you look at Tekken. Tekken has a similar problem with power crushes because power crushes just have a faint white smoke when they use it. And I'm just like, you do realize that tracking moves have a white trail on them as well, right?
Oh yeah, that's why like
I think
cheat.
Yeah, I think they should add more distinguishable effects so that people can differentiate the two. Like, I guess if
like how Rang is like armored tracking and it's like, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
The
like
visual-
it's
the same.
yeah, it's the same, and you see the tracking and you're like, oh wait, it's a power crush. And then you see the tracking and you're like, oh wait, it's not a power crush, I could have punished that. And then you see the power crush, oh wait, this one doesn't have tracking. And that's part of the mental stacking that makes it very hard to distinguish from another mechanic that has similar properties. So my only complaint about drive impact definitely is not really intrinsic to drive impact, but the drive impact in comparison to drive rush. I think the two need to be easier to distinguish, that's for sure. Well, I have another complaint, but Risa, do you have other complaints?
No, I think in terms of drive impact and drive rush, I don't have any issues with it so far, so I can't complain about the colors and all. But
Okay.
I would love for them to have like, maybe you can have the option to change drive impact colors, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Because I'm pretty
universally,
sure there are
it's
some
cool.
people that, I mean, it is a common thing. Colorblind options are very common in video games, and I think, not just for colorblind, but I think we should be able to customize the color of a drive impact, just to make it more distinguishable.
That's my
Like again, there are some people
my
that are
request.
okay with it, but there are people who
I'm
are
okay
like, no, I need to change it. And that's completely understandable. It's fair. One other complaint I also do have, I would say, in terms of character balancing, I think everyone is fair, to be honest. I think everyone is fair, and surprisingly, Ryu, I think, is one of the standout characters in the closed beta. Because for someone who has been known to be just plain vegetables, plain bread, his damage output is actually pretty insane. Pretty freaking insane. But if there's one thing I would want them to maybe tweak a bit, oh yeah, I wish they would add combo trials. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
there
yeah,
will be.
I'm pretty sure it will be.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there will be in the offline mode, but I hope that's
Full
gonna be a
release.
thing. Yeah, I hope that is still a thing. Combo trials, and I
Yeah.
did mess around with the training settings. The punishment training wasn't exactly the same as in Tekken, but I hope they change that. I hope the punishment training is similar to in Tekken, because it's a lot easier to lab against a character if you have punishment training for that character. Like, I don't want to individually set up like certain strings to practice. I want the game to be able to show me what are the common strings that a character does, you know? Because that's what they do in Tekken 7. Like, if you want to lab against, say, Ana, you do punishment training and they will show you the moves of Ana that are punishable and the proper punish for you to do. So when you see someone do that, you're like, oh, this is the optimal punish. I just want that option for Street Fighter 6. Because, honestly, that's one of the best features of Tekken 7, if I'm gonna be honest here. The punishment training in Tekken 7, very good tool. Because punishment in Tekken 7 is one of the most important things a player should learn. More so than combos, in my opinion. Like, sure, practicing and learning combos is one of the more fun stuff, but one of the most important stuff, learning how to punish a move. So yeah.
It's more game learning than combos in Tekken. Like knowing how to punish.
Yep. Let's see. Let's see.
I wish Street Fighter 6 have that Guilty Gear combo maker.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I hope we can make that.
That would be awesome.
Because I'd like to
see...
see...
of the best combo modes, because people can just make it and then post it online.
Also, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would share with their community. I mean, I would. I would share my combos for Kimberly, Chun-Li, and members of my community who play the characters I don't play. I would ask them for combos, and that is content. Like, someone in Risa's chat or community would be like, hey, yo, Risa, I also play Ken. Here are some Ken combos you might want to practice.
That's super fun.
It is super fun. It's interaction between our communities and it's content. It's fun. Let's see. Is there anything else? I feel like no. Yeah, I think I've covered all of the things I wanted to talk about, our thoughts and impressions of Street Fighter 6. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that we had to say were just all around praise, because to be fair, other than the day one server issues, which were resolved within a day, wish it was resolved faster, but hey, they resolved it within the next morning.
For it.
Yeah, they literally resolved it the next morning. Was really great. We had nothing but praise for Street Fighter 6 post beta, so they really nailed it this time. And yeah, for those curious about the netcode, I only had one bad experience, and it was from someone in China who had very erratic internet. But for connection, like, the furthest I've played against was in New Zealand or Australia, basically Oceania region. And for players in Southeast Asia, that's not the best connection that we have. Whenever we play like Strive or DNF Duel with players from that region, it's usually very stressful experience, but it was buttery smooth. And me and Chaos have had this very bad history of bad connection in Guilty Gear Strive, which is why, like, it's just not fun playing, for me at least. Like, I can't have fun playing with Chaos in Guilty Gear Strive because the connection from Philippines to Vietnam is just really bad for some reason. Some people say, yeah, I'm having the same issue. Some people say they don't. But the fact that Chaos is a good friend of mine and I can't have fun with a game that we like just sucks. But in Street Fighter 6, that wasn't an issue. He was playing in Vietnam. I was playing here, and our connection was, you guessed it, buttery smooth.
Butters.
It was butter smooth connection. It was practically flawless. There were no lag spikes or stutters anywhere. And yeah, again, our biggest takeaway for sure was the rematch speed. The rematch speed is something Risa and I couldn't shut up about throughout the entirety of the Street Fighter 6 closed beta. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, we come from Tekken.
Yeah, we come from
so
Tekken. It's probably
that's
why.
really understandable. Probably why.
All right.
Praise it so much.
That wraps it up for Shrine Talk episode 27. But of course, before I end the stream, I want to give the red carpet to Risa, as I always do to my guests. If you have any shoutouts or if you have a stream later, kindly tell our viewers what your plans are for the rest of the day.
I think I'm gonna rest after this for like 1 hour or 2 hours. Then I have like this backlog called Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is I need to stream and finish real soon because I want to participate on Spooktober.
And you also have Yakuza Ishin coming up soon, right?
Yep. So Yakuza 7 stream is coming soon from me. I'm taking a break on fighting games, so sorry. I'm not pumping up fighting game contents for now.
That's
because
fine.
I'm having like SF6 is just so fun that I don't wanna play Tekken yet. I still hope that I can play like SF6.
And let me add
add
something, Reese. Let me add something. Soul Calibur, 20 gigabytes. Soul Calibur is wait, sorry. Is it 20 gigabytes? Hang on. I want to be sure. I want to be sure. Sorry, yeah. 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes.
With that customization.
Yeah, with that amount of customization in that engine, Guilty Gear Strive is 22 gigabytes. How is Tekken 80 gigabytes? How is that game 80 gigabytes?
I don't want to install Tekken because it takes so much space. I can fit like 3 fighting games.
3 fighting games are a really good single player game that will eat up more time and less stress than a fighting game.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the reason.
Yeah.
One of the biggest reason I don't pump up Tekken content for a while is like space. And I'm still like in a honeymoon phase that I haven't moved on with.
Yep.
Street Fighter 6.
Yep. Same here. We are in Street Fighter 6.
Tekken 7 feels lazy.
We are still in the beta. We are in copium beta test.
Yep. We are post beta copium.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all from me.
Alright.
I just wanna tell like I'm taking a break on fighting games to finish backlogs.
For yours truly, I will be taking a break until 4 in the afternoon because they are going to be conducting a maintenance in my building. So there won't be electricity for a couple of hours. I will be streaming later Resident Evil 6. And then I'll be playing some other games after that as well. So for those watching us, we'll see you in our respective streams. And again, a genuine thank you and a genuine honor to have you over as a guest once again in Shrine Talk, Risa. Thanks again for
getting invited. It's an honor. Thank you very much.
Thanks for spending the time or making the time to be here. It means a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot to me as well to get invited.
Yes.
It's a big classic. Yep,
yes.
That's all for...
Alright, we will see you in our respective streams. And for those who are excited for Street Fighter 6, we will see you
on the Battle Hub.
If we get into the next beta, we'll see you in the next beta. But for sure, we will see you when the game launches. That is a guarantee for sure. Day one, yep. Day one installer right here. How about you, Risa?
Also, as a joke, if you play Kimberly and you're new to my stream, you're getting banned.
Okay, there you go. Day one installer and day one Kimberly Banner Risa.
Kimberly
Alright.
Banner.
We'll see you guys.
See ya.
Sayonara, Otoyoko deshita. 私たちの配信に来てくれて本当に光栄です。ありがとうございました。Good evening, good night, and have a good day, my precious foxtrots and the viewers from Risa's Chanel. We will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.